Today we're going to be testing out the newly buffed Skeleton Barrel that deals 9% more death damage. So when it actually breaks and drops, it's dealing 9% more damage now, which is going to change a lot of interactions. And it pairs very, very well inside of Mega Knight Bait, which is the deck I'm trying here. And the other thing, guys, is the Mega Knight, technically speaking, got an indirect buff because the Evolved P.E.K.K.A got a pretty big nerf, and that of course is a really good counter to the Mega Knight. So I could see Mega Knight Bait with the Skeleton Barrel being a pretty good deck this season. I guess only time will tell. He's going to go in for Skeletons here. Oh, he was trying to get the King activated and he messed it up. Really, really big mistake on his end, and that might actually cost him the game already. He's probably gonna, yeah, I was gonna say he has to Earthquake this, but actually the Earthquake isn't gonna hit the Spear Goblins, and oh my goodness, he is in a world of hurt. Bro, oh my goodness. Let's just go in. Okay, wait. We can go Bats. I was just waiting until the Ice Spirit jumped, and yeah, he ended up getting a lot of damage there, but nowhere near as much damage as we got. And that's the thing against the Mega Knight, right? This is why I think a lot of casuals hate the Mega Knight so much. If you make just like one mistake defending it, it can literally cost you the whole game because he literally just misplayed the Skeletons. If he played them, I believe, one tile more to the right, he would have been able to have the Mega Knight jump and be in range to go in for that Ice Spirit to get his King activated. But because he played it off by one tile, it costed him his whole tower, which is why this deck is just so oppressive and really punishes your opponent if they make any kind of mistake. I guess we'll just go in for a Mega Knight here. This way we save the Inferno Drag so the Queen doesn't just like absolutely snipe it and take it out entirely without him having to work for it a little bit. But he is unfortunately going to be able to get Royal Hogs off now that I don't have the Mega Knight for, so we are going to have to go in for a Goblin Gang, and this is actually ending up being a lot closer now, a lot closer than I would have liked, but I still think he's in a pretty bad situation because if this ends up being a two-tower game, I think this overall favors me compared to him. And yeah, with the Skeleton Barrel dealing more death damage, there's a lot of times now where you don't want it to reach your tower because if you're consistently able to get these Skelly Barrels on the opponent's perspective, I mean, you don't want it to actually get death damage on the tower, and it's hard to avoid sometimes when you're using a deck, of course, that doesn't have a building. Now, this guy, unfortunately, has a building, but if you're against an opponent that doesn't have one, it might force them to more often now have to actually play a ranged unit or, say, an air unit to actually get rid of the Skelly Barrel early on so they don't continuously take death damage. Or you could use the defensive Skeleton Barrel more often now because it's dealing more damage, which could change some interactions as well. So we are unfortunately going to have to use our Evolve Zap on top of that there. I didn't really want to do that, but I felt like I had to. The Evolve Zap only 2 strikes now, so I figured I'd kind of try that out in this deck as well. I think it's definitely a lot worse, but it's still probably going to be viable in decks like this because I don't really know what other evolution you'd use unless maybe you run, for example, I don't even know. I guess maybe Evolve Wall Breakers if you want to experiment with that. But either way, this guy unfortunately kind of came back. I guess that was kind of bound to happen because the problem is, even though I took his tower, he dealt so much damage with the pigs, and he kind of was able to get my tower in kind of critical condition, and then he just had to cycle a couple more times. But I still think we could win if we play smart. I guess we'll kind of just have to see what happens. Maybe we can go in for Bats here. If he keeps allowing us to get some chip damage here and there, we could definitely win off of that. And as you can see, the Mega Knight, oh, it didn't jump. I thought it was going to jump on the Arena Tower. It went for the King Tower instead, but we actually got a lot of chip damage from the Bats, way more than I thought. So this isn't actually looking too bad. I think we could still win this for sure. Maybe we just, okay, we got to get a Zap going here on those Evo Skellies. There's nothing more that's more important to Zap than those. That is the most important thing by far. We need to get a Mega Knight going here. He kind of messed up the Ice Spirit, and actually look at the King Tower. Wow, the King Tower is taking so much damage. Like, actually, wow. I did not expect that. We're kind of switching up our game plan now. We're probably going to go for the King Tower instead of the Arena Tower. Okay, hold up, hold up. We got to hold our horses here. We got to go in for the Mega Knight on top of the pigs. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Evo Zap, Mega Knight jumps on the King, and that is going to be a unexpected 3-crown, actually. Alright, we found our next one here against Vino. We can just go for Spear Goblins at the bridge to get some pressure going, and he's going to have a Zap. So we could actually go Minor Bats opposite lane because he just uses Zap and his Mega Minions, so if he doesn't have a good response, could be kind of annoying. And he actually, unfortunately, though, has an Ice Wizard, so he's going to have a fantastic counter to those Bats besides just the Zap. We can go Skelly Barrel opposite lane. Let's see what he's got for this, and he's going to go for a Mortar. So we could actually go in for a Mega Knight here just to distract the Mortar, and these Skeletons are actually going to pick it off, so maybe I didn't even have to go in for the Mega Knight. I could have just gotten away with splitting the Gob Gang, but that's alright. At least he had to spend a Cannon Cart just to counter the Mega Knight, which is quite a lot of Elixir, so I'm honestly content with that. And once we get a little bit more Elixir, probably just pressure with Spear Goblins. So the Mortar might be a little challenging to deal with in some situations. The Evolved Mortar did get a nerf though, so it might not be as difficult to defend it in some situations. The retargeting is going to be a lot slower because the first attack got nerfed. That was the nerf that the Evolved Mortar ended up getting. So it should be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. We'll just split this here. And he's actually, wow, he's got a, I was not expecting him to have a like a graveyard. That is kind of crazy. The Evo Mega Knight clutched up there though, knocking that back, so he wasn't able to get a good Doctor ability off. He did pop it there. Unfortunately, the thing, what do you even, the whatchamacallit, what even is that thing called? The rod. I forgot what it was called for a second. The rod, unfortunately, was right next to the tower, so he was able to get a good ability off. I thought he wasn't going to be able to do it, but he did. So that's kind of unfortunate. We're going to have to just let that lock on the tower, I guess. Maybe we'll go in for a Miner here, see if we can do something out of this. He's going to arrow. Oh my gosh, he's got arrows and zap. This is looking more and more like a brutal matchup. I actually don't know what we're going to be able to do here. I'll just cycle an Inferno Drag. He's going to go Mega Minion. I guess I'll go for a Mega Knight. And from there, we can kind of see what he wants to do. He's likely, yeah, going to be able to defend this without too much trouble because of the Goblinstein. So that's, I guess, pretty expected. And he's actually going to Evo Zap. Let's see. The Miner might actually be able to take out the Doctor. Yeah, the Miner is actually a good way to take that out. You can kind of snipe it, so that's pretty cool. Let's see. We're going to have the Inferno Drag here, and then we could actually go in for the Evolved Mega Knight with the Inferno Drag. This could be really good. Wait, what the heck? Is this guy kind of crashing out? What is going on? He went for an Ice Wizard as well as a Cannon Cart. Oh my gosh, wait a minute. What the heck is happening? Oh my gosh, wait. Okay, hold up. Oh! That jumped on the tower. Oh! Boom. Let's go. Bro, I don't know what actually happened. That is kind of wild. Okay, wait. Spear Goblins? This guy, like, either just kind of had an oopsie moment, like he didn't know what to do, or I don't know, was he like lagging or something? I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, I don't care, because that is potentially, yeah, it is going to allow us to get the win against a Gobstein deck. Let's go. Alright, found our next one here against Madi, so we'll just start with a Skeleton Barrel at the bridge, and this guy's going to have Hog, so the Mega Knight's going to be a pretty good counter to the Hog, which is good. If he has the Firecracker, though, that could be a tad bit annoying, because of course I don't have arrows or an adequate way of taking that out. So that is kind of sometimes one drawback of this deck, but we do have the Miner, which could be used against it. And actually, it seems to me like this guy might be using Hog X NATO, actually, because he has, yeah, as you can see, he just went in for the Executioner. So, yeah, that is likely what it is. So that's a good sign. I'd prefer him having that than the Firecracker, although the Executioner will get some solid value, I feel like, against some of our Beatty cards. So we'll see what we can do. We're going for a Skeleton Barrel here. Mega Knight should actually jump on... Oh, it didn't jump on both. That's alright, though. He might actually... Yeah, he does NATO, which is going to get him the King activation, which is a tad bit annoying. I don't know if that was really avoidable, though. So I guess we'll see what we can do from this point on dealing with the King activation. He's going to get a log going. Good thing I didn't end up playing the Goblin Gang right into the log. That would have been really bad. I'm going to actually Miner with this Goblin Gang. It's going to force him to... Yeah, it was a little annoying for him because he didn't have the Valken cycle, so he had to go for Goblins first, and we actually can pick off everything with those Bats, which is really solid, and then send this in. He's likely just going to... Yeah, he does just NATO that, which is kind of easy defense for him, sadly, but it is what it is, I suppose. Yeah, this is going to be challenging. We'll try our best, though. We will try our best, but I think this is going to be a little tricky. Executioner, NATO, Log. He's got a lot of spells. So, we'll see. I'm just going to cycle Zap. We got the Evolve Zap next time around, which I feel like is solid. We could actually cycle an Inferno Drag in the opposite lane. I don't want to play it in the left because, of course, it gives him a free rocket if he chooses to do that. Let's actually go for the Evolved Mega Knight. Opposite lane of that Executioner. See if we can get a little bit of a push going. And he's going to rocket the... Wow. That is surprising. I did not expect him to do that. And he actually decides to log. Let's go in for a Skeleton Barrel here. And then from there... Okay, he uses his Evolved Ice Spirit on that. I'm honestly completely content with that. He does go for the Evolve Valk, and maybe, just maybe, we could actually get the Mega Knight on top of the tower. Nah, he actually goes in for the... Okay, we actually do get it on the tower. One hit. Better than none, so I'll take it. Not that amazing, but it's better than nothing, like I already said. So he's going to log. Skelly coming in. He's actually going to hog. I don't know how I feel about that hog. We should actually be able to defend it relatively easily. Tiny bit of chip damage in the other lane, which of course is good. Maybe an Inferno Drag here. See if we can get it to lock on top of the Executioner, which of course would be really nice. But, oh, okay, he went Goblins, so now good opportunity to send in the Miner. We could get a little bit of damage potentially. But he's going to go in for a hog. We're going to maybe zap this. It gets a shot. This is actually a really close game. Closer than I anticipated it would be, because I do think that this is pretty challenging. We're going to have to get an Evolved Mega Knight going here. He's going to play a Valk into that, so that probably wasn't the best Valkyrie. So that is going to be solid for us. See if we could somehow... yep, Rocket just comes in there, wipes everything out. That is a tad bit unfortunate. Let's go in for a Miner here. Zap, we're going to get rid of that Valkyrie. And he is going to NATO, and unfortunately that is going to line up with everything. Yikes. I don't know what we could have done about that there. Let's just Skelly Barrel in the opposite lane. He's probably going to go in for... I don't even know, actually. Let's Inferno Drag here, see what he wants to do. I guess we'll go Mega Knight. We really got to try to get some damage, but I don't know how we're going to do that. It's going to be a little challenging, I feel like. He's going to go for the Evo Valk. Maybe we get a... maybe Evo Zap going here? I'm not sure. Don't know if it's really going to do very much for us, though, sadly. Let's see. Send in the Skelly Barrel here. He's just going to... Wow, he's just rocket cycling. He's just straight up rocket cycling at this point. That is a bit tragic. He's going to Xe in the other lane. Let's go in for the Evolved Mega Knight. I feel like this is kind of our last hope. Straight up. I think this is our last chance. Let's see if we can do something here. He's going to... Oh, NATO that back. Okay, wait. Let's get an Evo Zap going here. He goes in for the Valk, though, which unfortunately... Oh, it's going in that lane, not the lane I wanted. Okay, wait. Rocket Cycle, bro. Oh my gosh. Dude. Ugh. The Rocket Cycle. That's going to be game, I think, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, I messed up the Mega Knight. Not like it would have mattered, though. But yeah, it's alright to end on a loss, I guess. You know, it happens. You win some, you lose some. That's Clash Royale. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. If you guys are not subscribed already, let me know what you guys think of the buff Skeleton Barrel. Definitely going to be a little bit better now. You can use credit code BOSS to support me in any Supercell game. And thanks again. Until next time, guys.